We've all been waiting for the DLC for Resident Evil Village, and after around a year and a half, we finally got it. The Shadows of Rose DLC recently came out, along with added features like third-person mode for the main game. Shadows of Rose was heavier on the horror, which was very much appreciated. Now, considering this DLC has just come out and considering its very obvious ties to Village, and the journey of protagonist Ethan Winters, there will be major spoilers throughout this video, where we will also be referring back to what happened to Ethan back in the main campaign. We'll start the video with a brief explanation of the plot throughout Resident Evil 7 and 8, but there'll be video chapters, so if you want to skip the plot explanation, then feel free to skip forward. Before we begin though, a quick word from the sponsor of today's video, Atlas VPN. Atlas VPN are offering an incredible Black Friday 3-year deal for just $1.70 per month plus 6 months extra. With over 750 servers around the world, connection to Atlas VPN servers is incredibly stable and lightning fast, which means that if you're a gamer playing multiplayer horror titles such as Dead by Daylight, Devour or Phasmophobia, there'll be absolutely no lag. As well as that benefit, you'll also be safe from things like being DDoSed or even things like avoiding a lobby full of bots. You can even use it to bypass IP bans. Of course, it's not just used for gaming. As a sports fan myself, living in the UK is extremely difficult for watching any US sports, so I just hop onto Atlas VPN, fire up whatever US-based streaming service I use, and boom, I can watch anything, whether that be NBA, NFL, or MLB. This is also really good for using in conjunction with Netflix, where you can turn on your VPN and use it to access Netflix servers around the world. Different servers mean different options. You can use it on multiple devices, and Atlas VPN can also block any malicious links, ads, and trackers, and it also notifies you if and when someone is trying to steal your data. Make sure you take up this absolute steal of a Black Friday deal, because now you can get Atlas VPN Premium for just $1.70 per month, plus 6 months extra with a 30-day money-back guarantee. It's the best Atlas VPN offer of the year, so be quick and get your deal by clicking the link in the description or looking for the pinned link in the comments section. With all that being said, let's get into the video. I guess we should kick this off with some backstory because it's very relevant to the DLC. Long story short, in 2017, Ethan Winters received a mysterious email from his wife Mia, who had gone missing 3 years earlier. If you want to watch my Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8 videos on the story, then the links are down in the description. But basically Mia, unbeknownst to Ethan, was working for an organisation called The Connections, and Mia, along with a man called Alan, were transporting a bioweapon in the form of a little girl called Evelyn to a facility. The reason for the move was that the BSAA and Chris Redfield had gotten wind of this bioweapon and had set out to destroy it, but the Connections were one step ahead and moved Evelyn. Anyway, Evelyn is made up of a fungal mold called mutamycete. She was a failed experiment, but we'll get to that shortly. Evelyn ends up killing the ship's crew, creates monsters out of this mold and destroys the ship, and during a storm its wreck washes up in the bayou in Dulvey, Louisiana. Flooding has hit Dulvey hard during this storm, and Evelyn and Mia are found by a local man named Jack Baker and his son Lucas. He takes the two back to his estate to shelter from the storm, and his wife Marguerite and daughter Zoe sort them out with clean clothes and a bed. Jack then leaves to assess the boathouse due to flooding damage. Now this is where it all unravels. Evelyn infects the entire family with the mold and turns them into bloodthirsty mutants. 3 years pass, and Mia has sent Ethan the mysterious email telling him where she is. As any husband would, he investigates. He finds a way into the house and meets up with his wife, but she's different. She tries to attack him. He fights her off and is punched and head stomped by Jack Baker. Ethan then wakes up having dinner with the whole family. Anyway, Ethan eventually goes on a traumatic journey throughout the Baker mansion and finds an antidote for the infection, and with a choice, he obviously cures Mia. Then they try to escape, but end up on the shipwreck and get separated. Ethan confronts Evelyn, revealed to be the grandmother of the family. Ethan then kills a massively mutated, monstrous version of Evelyn after getting some help from Chris Redfield. Resident Evil 7 then ends with Mia and Ethan safe. 3.5 years later, Ethan and Mia have 1. Been located somewhere in Romania, and 2. Have had a daughter, Rose. They put Rose to bed and are about to have dinner when the lights go out and Mia is assassinated. The assassins, it's Chris Redfield and his Hound Wolf squad. They abduct Ethan and Rose and are transporting them somewhere when their convoy is attacked. Rose has been taken, but Ethan is alive. He walks to a nearby village but is attacked by some lichens. He is eventually brought before the village priest. A woman called Miranda along with her 4 lords, Heisenberg, Donna Beneviento, Salvatore Moreau, and Alcina. I'm not saying a last name because everyone will get twisted up in the comments because of mispronunciation and blah blah blah.
Dimitrescu?
The very same.
Ethan escapes a death trial set by Heisenberg and heads towards a castle. It's here that he meets the mysterious Duke, a travelling merchant. Ethan travels through the castle looking for his daughter and has to battle with Alcina's daughters, as well as Alcina herself, and finds that Rose has been broken down and separated into 4 pieces, kept in flasks by each of the 4 lords. Throughout the night and in the early morning, Ethan fights and kills each of the remaining 3 lords and retrieves all 4 flasks. Before defeating Heisenberg though, Ethan and Chris have a chat, where he reveals that Miranda is capable of mimicry. She managed to infiltrate Ethan and Mia's home and use her mimicry to replace Mia and to abduct Rose, which explains why Chris killed Mia. Miranda wasn't dead though, and she of course attacked the transport abducting Rose. After Ethan defeats Heisenberg, Miranda confronts Ethan and she reveals that she plans to use Rose to facilitate the rebirth of her deceased daughter Eva, who died many years earlier. Miranda then kills Ethan by tearing his heart out. Chris learns of Ethan's death and his Hound Wolf squad, which we can reveal now went rogue from the BSAA after they tried to cover up the Dulvey incident as a gas leak, and they attempt to save Rose. They see the BSAA arrive and use this to their advantage as Miranda will be distracted. Chris finds the root of the mutamycete, a huge organism called the megamycete or the mold root, and he attaches a bomb to it. Venturing further, he finds Miranda's lab. Seems that way back when, Miranda's young daughter Eva died as a result of the Spanish flu, meaning that Miranda is over 100 years old. She ventured into the caves beneath the village to die and came across the mold root. She touched it and learned that the mold root had absorbed or catalogued the consciousness of hundreds, maybe even thousands of people after their deaths within its vicinity. One of these people was Eva. Miranda, over the course of decades, tried to find a vessel for Eva to be revived. This resulted in her creating a parasite called a Kadu, resulting in many failed experiments, which were the Lycans and the 4 Lords, along with other significant experiments, like Evelyn. Chris also learned that years ago, Miranda was a mentor to someone. This was none other than Oswell E. Spencer, who eventually left, but inspired by Miranda's mentorship, he started his own company, which we know to be Umbrella, and we all know how that turned out. Anyway, Chris finds Mia imprisoned inside Miranda's lab, explaining how she was able to get Mia out of the way. Chris breaks the news to Mia that Ethan is dead, but Mia drops a bombshell. At the same time this bombshell is revealed, Ethan has been dead for the last 3 years. Evelyn appears to him, or rather her consciousness does, and she explains that he was killed by Jack Baker in Louisiana and is made up entirely of mold, explaining why he was able to take so much damage and still recover. Evelyn's mold essentially revived him. Ethan is taken by the Duke to Miranda's ceremony site where she is performing the ritual to revive her long-lost daughter. It doesn't work, she only succeeds in reviving Rosemary. Ethan kills Miranda this time, but the megamycete rises from the ground. Ethan has reached the limit to his regeneration as his body starts to crumble. He sacrifices himself in order to detonate the bomb, giving Chris time to escape with Rosemary and to get Mia to safety. Ethan then detonates the bomb, dying in the process. On the chopper, Chris discovers from one of his squad that the BSAA didn't send soldiers to the village, they sent bioweapons. He tells the pilot to plot a course to Europe, to the BSAA headquarters. The game then ends. We pass through time now to 2037, where we see a 16-year-old Rose meeting a man in the park. This is one of Chris's Hound Wolf squad, Dion Wilson, or his code name, K9. Rose has been separated from Mia and is under the protection of the US government. Rose is an outcast though, and girls at her school bully her because they think she is a freak. Chris even had to go to the school to reassure the teachers that Rose wasn't dangerous. Rose tells K9, who she refers to as K, that she would get rid of her powers in a heartbeat if she could. K takes Rose to a secret facility housing a government lab, which itself is housed to a small piece of the megamycete, the Black God. K tells Rose that if she links with it, mentally, she can use the realm of consciousness inside to retrieve a purifying crystal that will cleanse her of the mold from her body. Miranda, after her death at the hands of Ethan, still existing inside the realm of consciousness, had been researching this purifying crystal. She links with it and travels to the realm of consciousness. This is essentially the aforementioned record and catalogue of people's consciousness that it's assimilated over the years. She wakes up and finds herself in a representation of the village castle's dungeon. Venturing further, she sees a grotesque substance covering the walls and floors. Hearing a knock coming from the other side of a locked door, she finds the key and is about to be pulled into some strange substance, but is pulled to safety by someone. To Rose's shock, it's a clone of herself. A short time later, Rose and her clone come across yet more clones, all of them imprisoned and trapped. Rose finds more of her doppelgangers dead, and it seems they've been killed in a very gruesome manner. Rose finds a handle for the door to escape, but the clone she saved is being attacked by a monster called a Face Eater. Clue is in the name. Rose must wait for the door to open whilst avoiding more Face Eaters, which appear to spawn from the gross substance on the floor. Rose eventually manages to escape the Face Eaters, but only momentarily as she is cornered. A bright yellow light comes to Rose's aid, allowing her to escape further into the castle. Now to safety, Rose communicates with the light source. It tells her to leave. Rose sarcastically asks if this light is her guardian angel, to which the light responds, sure. This leads to her agreeing with the name Michael after the Archangel Saint Michael. Walking down the hallway, Rose hears the sound of someone laughing. It's someone familiar to us. It's the Duke, saying it looks like we've caught another, and then Rose 2.0 is consumed by the red substance. This red substance is called the Liquid Void. Interesting to note is that the Duke referred to the clone as a rabbit, and this note shows us the Duke calls the Face Eaters dogs. He refers to a hunt. It also seems that the clones have been after the Purifying Crystal too. Rose gives her position anyway, and the Duke is overjoyed. Another rabbit to hunt. This leads to Rose running away in an attempt to escape. She runs down the halls as they become covered in the Liquid Void. This also happens to the exit, which closes itself off. Michael shows up again and provides Rose with a gun, which she uses to defeat Face Eaters. Going back to the main hall, Rose discovers that she needs 3 masks, bronze, silver and gold, in order to obtain the crystal. Whilst looking for these crystals, Michael directs Rose towards a substance called the Rose Winters variant. Her body absorbs the substance and it gives her the power to destroy cores. The cores are basically called sclerotia, and this note gives us more insight into the Liquid Void. That these sclerotia are often associated with a patch of liquid void that the mold has spread through. Essentially, these sclerotia allow the mutamycete, or the mold, to inhabit the liquid void. The sclerotia are facilitating the production of the liquid void, which not only slows Rose down, but also has the danger of pulling her into the void through the Face Eaters, which are molded creatures. Anyway, Rose uses her increased power to obtain all 3 masks and places them onto the statue, unlocking her prize. But one problem, the Duke reveals that the crystal is a fake, and it crumbles in her hands. The Duke placed a fake one there to give false hope to his prey, to force them to play his game. He says that nothing that valuable could manifest on that particular stratum. He says that he had to bait the trap, and just like that, Rose is grabbed by the creatures in the liquid void and pulled down into an arena of sorts. She has to fight against a huge creature she's met before during her pursuit of the 3 masks. He's called the Executioner, and he's not happy. With the help of her powers, she's able to defeat the Executioner. The Duke is furious. He summons even more creatures, and Michael tells Rose to run and to jump off a cliff. Rose falls into another place, this time into the grounds of the Beneviento estate. Michael appears to tell Rose that she is in a deeper stratum than the ones previous. It seems that this catalogue, or this realm of consciousness, has many levels to it. Michael also mentions that the deeper Rose has to go, the harder it'll be for her to escape. Rose sees a teddy bear with a message on it saying, "I know where the crystal is." She enters the elevator and Michael says that someone is trying to block him. Rose loses contact with Michael altogether and finds a diary entry that she wrote years earlier about the kids saying mean things to her at school. She says that due to her nature she sweats, but the sweat is pure white. Rose then walks through the creepy hallways and comes to a room which features lots of teddy bears resembling the ones she had when she was little. She spots the crystal in a locked cage and the lights go out. She hears a creepy voice saying it's playtime and Rose has to solve a puzzle. She dissects a teddy bear and finds a relief for a locked door. Rose then has to solve another puzzle. 3 scenarios exist with representation of Rose's own childhood trauma, and she has to place dolls in each of the dioramas. She is slightly alarmed to see a mannequin that resembles her mother Mia, but after completing the 3rd and final scenario, Rose finds that the mannequin is moving around the place by itself. She receives a key for the elevator's breaker box though, and answers a phone featuring the voice of the antagonistic girl that nonetheless appears to be helping her. The girl tells Rose to take the elevator to her. The hallways seem to be a lot darker and are starting to show signs of the liquid void seeping through. She gets to the elevator and, surprise surprise, the elevator fuse is blown, so she needs a new one. The mannequins now have a mind of their own though, and Rose has to keep her eye on them at all times, otherwise they'll grab her. Truly terrifying. Rose grabs the fuse and, dealing with not one but 4 mannequins, she makes it back to the elevator again, leaving and ascending to meet the mysterious girl. Another problem though. The girl laughs and says that she has gathered some friends. These friends are the same murderous dolls that were under the power of Donna Beneviento, the same dolls that Ethan encountered. She evades the dolls using her wits and ends up in the bedroom where the dolls bully and torment Rose. Rose then has to run, avoiding the mannequin resembling Mia, and eventually sees Michael again, who helps Rose get to safety. Then this happens.
I can't take much more of this. Why are they talking about my dad? I never even met him. No, I don't know. I don't know the first thing about him. I wish I did. All I know is he died protecting me. I try to imagine what my life would have been like if he hadn't died. Would he have taught me to ride a bike? Helped me with my homework? Read me a story every night? Would he have been there for me? Proud of me? Sometimes, when I feel lost or afraid, I try to imagine what he might have said to me.
Michael then transports Rose to their old family home, telling her it's safe there. She finds things around the house, hearing what seems to be the memory of her father, Ethan. Going upstairs, Rose finds a letter from Ethan.
A letter for me?
Happy half-birthday, Rose. My gift to you is a promise. I'll always be there for you, no matter what. I'll be there every birthday to watch you blow out the candles on your cake. I'll be there to make you breakfast and walk you to school every day. I'll be there when you have a bad dream and sing to you until you fall back asleep. I'll hug you tight when you're troubled or worried and tell you that everything's gonna be all right. You are my precious Rose. Never forget that, Dad.
No one loves you. No! No! Michael! Michael, help! Michael! No!
And we see our old friend Evelyn. She pulls Rose from the safe place and drags her back into the Beneviento house. She tells Rose that the crystal isn't even there. Rose needs to go even deeper into yet another stratum. Evelyn disappears into the liquid void and essentially fills the mansion with it, hoping to drown Rose. Oh yeah, part of Evelyn's imprinting when she was created involved her wanting a family, I guess to integrate into society. It became an unhealthy obsession, and she viewed Mia as her mother, wanting Ethan to be her father, and with Rose being their actual daughter, well, let's just say that Evelyn isn't happy about that. Rose gets to the elevator and Evelyn is there. She grabs Rose, saying that both Mia and Ethan were supposed to die and join her there in the realm of consciousness. But before Evelyn can complete her evil work, Michael saves Rose, giving her the chance to escape. She's not safe yet though, as Rose has to confront Evelyn. She uses her powers against Evelyn's glorified wind tunnel, and she's saved by a man who shoves her down into the next stratum. Rose is in the deepest stratum now, in the center of the village. She has to fight off the clones of herself again, descends underneath the village and sees a massive heart-like structure. She also finds a number of notes scattered around the laboratory, notes from Miranda. These notes tell us that although the Mega Mycete absorbs and stores records of all those that have died in its proximity, there are laws which govern the world within it. One of these laws is that only those who are attuned to the Mega Mycete can retain control of their faculties within the realm of consciousness. Not only that, but everything they learned in the physical world will be carried over to the other realm, which explains why Miranda was able to carry on researching there, as she was heavily attuned to the mold, same as Evelyn. She's still trying to find a vessel for her daughter Eva, and the only real candidate for this is Rose. Another note states that she's used other people's consciousness to create entities. These entities? Face Eaters. Again, these were results of Miranda's failed experiments in trying to find a vessel for Eva. A different note mentions that Miranda tried to duplicate Rose but only succeeded in making, in her words, a pathetic husk. She states that the Face Eaters had parts of their faces missing, as did the Rose replicas, which explains Duke's note about putting makeup on them to make them seem more alive. She tried to create a suitable vessel, but she says that some sort of interference is preventing her from creating a suitable replica. She even made a version of the Duke. Of course, it wasn't the actual him, not this lovable rogue. She created him as she found out that under situations involving stress, the husks would express some of Rose's abilities. She created the masked Duke in order to perform these stress tests as research. Another note mentions Evelyn, mentions her as a failure. This irked Miranda slightly as Evelyn was trying to exact her own agenda, and this messed with Miranda's, and we're about to find out exactly what Miranda's agenda was. She had a plan to lure Rose into that realm. That way, Rose would essentially be offering herself as a vessel.
It's working. Oh my God. Is this what normal feels
Rose, I've waited so long for you.
Who are you?
My name is Miranda. You had become so powerful. Far too powerful for me to subdue directly. So, I had to lure you into this realm so that you might willingly relinquish your powers.
No, but Kay said...
Did he or did I? That game was an illusion. Very convincing, wouldn't you say?
No way.
Now you can become the vessel to my Eva!
Rose, run!
Ethan, you pest!
Go!
So, stop me for he can manifest. He can save you, Rose! No one can.
Well, seems that Ethan was Michael all along. Come on, I mean, it was obvious, right? Seems that Ethan, also being highly attuned with the mold himself, thanks to Evelyn, was attuned enough with it that he was the one who was preventing Miranda from creating a suitable Rose replica. He and a now mold-free Rose run away from Miranda, and Rose asks him why he didn't tell her who he was. He says it was to keep her safe. This could echo what Chris did by not telling Ethan that Miranda impersonated Mia in order to try and protect him. Ethan maybe understands why Chris didn't tell him. Just before they escape the caves, Miranda grabs Rose, but Ethan shoots Miranda in the face, and he and Rose leave the caves. Miranda is set on using Rose as a vessel, and Ethan tells her to go and live a normal life and make friends. Not wanting to leave her father to die, she reabsorbs the power from the crystal by smashing it, and gains back her powers. She eventually defeats Miranda, and she's gone for good this time.
Hey, sweetie.
Oh my God!
You're so grown up now. And even though I wasn't there with you, I've always watched over you. I'm so sorry I couldn't protect you.
All you've ever done is protect me.
No. Not this time. You lost your chance. I'm so sorry.
No. It was my choice. And I don't regret it one bit. If I had left you, then we never would have had this chance to talk face to face. So it's okay. I'm okay.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so very proud of you. I love you, Rose.
I love you too, Dad.
Rose then leaves the realm of consciousness and has her father's wedding ring in her hand. Then this scene from the end of the main game plays out, which actually takes place after all this has happened. Now this cleared a lot up for me, as Rose says she barely knew her father in the DLC, but at the end of the main game, acted like she knew him so well. And it makes sense why Rose was so mad at her handler after he called her Evelyn. Then, as we know, Rose and her handler are driving away and a mysterious figure walks towards them. The game then ends. And that's it. Given that Rose regained her powers and abilities back at the end of the game, tells us that she may feature at some point, but I guess the next installment, being Resident Evil 9, will likely follow Chris and his Houndwolf squad in the trip to BSAA headquarters in Europe. But that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, then please leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this. Leave a comment down below. But for now, take care and I'll see you in the next one.